Y'all, look at these prints. Stunning. Stunning. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice, and today we're going to be unboxing the OmTech Aurora. Shout out to OmTech for sending me their new DTF printer so that I can try it out and see what I think and review it. So we're going to dive in and open this up. Y'all, this printer is compact. It's the printer with the shaker oven combo. It prints 14 inches wide and it is a dual head printer. Now they say the setup is easy, so we're about to see. Let's get started. All right, y'all, here's the OmTech Aurora. I already removed it from the crate. My mom and Taylor helped me remove it because it is super duper heavy. Now, it did come with the printer already attached to the shaker oven combo. However, you can use this as a standalone. You can use the printer as a standalone. I do like the oven shaker combo because it is on wheels, so I can kind of move everything around a lot easier. And it's compact, so you're not taking up too much space in your craft room or your small business, your studio, whatever you use. All right, so I'm just removing all the tape from around the printer and the shaker oven. It is very important to do that because you don't want to turn anything on and you have tape somewhere and it causes your printer to be damaged. All right, so right now we're just removing the tape from the print head. You want to open up all of the components of this printer and remove any tape. Now there is going to be a film, a plastic film underneath the print head. Don't try to remove it like I'm doing right there because it's not going to happen. You're going to have to wait until you actually turn the printer on and then it'll move. Right now we are at the oven shaker combo and I'm just removing all of the stuffing that's inside of there. We're not setting it up quite yet, but I'm just removing all of that stuff. I do want to let y'all know on a little secret. I had assistance from the tech support team at OmTech. They wanted me to contact them when I was ready to set the printer up, and they walked me through all of the different steps. Now with this particular printer, it is super easy. You're not really setting too much of anything up. All the dampers and everything already come attached to the print head. You don't have to worry about that. And as far as the ink is concerned, it's a one-click push. Okay, you're not using your syringes to draw ink or extract that ink out. So when we get to that point, I'll let you guys see. Now I'm just unpacking the rest of the stuff. We have ink. OmTech sent a case of ink with this printer. Now if you get this printer and they send it exactly the way that they sent it to me, you may want to make sure you order extra ink. Okay, because the ink that they sent me was enough to fill up the tank, each tank. However, there wasn't any overage, so you may want to have some extra ink on hand. Now, I did go ahead and plug the printer up, and we're going to turn it on. With this printer, you need an Ethernet port. Okay, so if you don't have an Ethernet port on your laptop or computer, you're going to need to get an adapter to get that done. So here I'm just playing around with the screen. This is a touch screen so that you're able to move that print head. You're able to perform cleanings from the screen. You're able to perform test prints from the screen. And I really, really like that because you don't actually have to open up the software in order to do that. So with the software, you want to make sure that you have a PC, because your software, you will need to have it connected to your laptop when printing via the Ethernet cord. Okay, and it just does not work on a Mac yet. The software is not made for Mac. At least their RIP software is not. All right, so right now we're just going to go ahead and get the roll brackets attached, and that's what I'm doing here, just making sure that we have everything set up because your film is on a roll. And if you needed to just feed it one film at a time, like a film sheet, you can do that also. But the rolls are convenient. Now, we will talk a little bit about, not being wasteful with that roll film and using the oven shaker combo. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit later why I prefer just to go ahead and not use the oven shaker combo when I have small print jobs. This was fairly simple to assemble. You just want to make sure that you have everything in the correct direction. And I wouldn't tighten up those screws until I have everything in place, okay? Because that can kind of throw you off and then you can still adjust it. So as you see, I'm able to adjust it based on the bar and how everything is lining up. And now I'm going to go ahead and just tighten up those brackets onto that oven shaker combo. All right, so we're going to get ready to grab our film, and it is a roll of film. This is a 14, or it's really like almost a 15-inch wide film, and you want to make sure you put it in the correct direction. So you want that arrow to be facing the printer as you get ready to install it. So this printer, y'all, boasts a 14-inch wide print. a 14-inch wide print. So that is larger than most of the printers like this on the market. Those particular printers print A3 or A3 plus, which is a little bit less than 13 inches wide, but this one we can print 14 inches wide with this printer. All right, so we're going to get ready to place the roll of film onto the brackets and just make sure that those arrows are, that arrow is facing the printer, and we're going to remove the sticker, and we're going to go ahead and slide that underneath, or slide the film underneath those pinch wheels. So they also send some medium white powder, and you want to make sure you have on some type of protective gloves and a mask, just so that you're not inhaling any of those of that powder. So we're just gonna place this right here. This is where the shaker comes in handy, because it will automatically shake the powder onto your film, onto your print, as it goes through the rest of the oven. Okay, so we're just going to place this on top so that we don't have that really exposed. So now we're going to head back over and we're going to pull that film through, and this is your lever for those pinch wheels to lift them up and raise them back down. So we wanted to lift them up so that we can slide that film through without having any major issues. Okay, so I'm just going to open up the printer so that we can see exactly what it is that we're doing. Now with this printer, you can actually print with the cover open. You don't have to have it closed, but you know, you just want to make sure that you're careful while doing that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pull this film through. Throughout this entire process, I was on WhatsApp with the techs from OmTech. They were walking me through every single step. So that's why there is no sound, and I'm just doing a voiceover. Okay, so this part you have to really pay attention. There is a video that shows you exactly how to thread the film, because there's a lot of over and unders in order to get it through the film, through the shaker, and making sure that it goes onto the roller. There is it's a whole process, y'all. It's a whole process, which is part of the reason why I prefer to just print out single sheets. Unless I have a lot of prints to print out, then I won't be using the oven shaker combo, because it's just a lot to cut off the film and then have to re-thread it every single time. So unless I have a large print order, which I'm looking to do more transfers, so I may use it more, but for the most part I do prefer to just go ahead and print out single sheets. While this is super cool to have and makes printing a lot easier, this might be my least favorite part of just the whole machine. The printer is beautiful, it works wonderful, but this may be my least favorite part as far as having to deal with threading it through and putting it on the roller every single time if you want this on the roller. And you also end up wasting a lot of film, because you have to thread a lot of the film through the machine in order to get it to the roller. And when I say a lot, you do have to thread a lot of that film. So this may be my least favorite part of the printer, or maybe of the process. Now, having it shake the powder onto the film, I love that. And also having it cure, you don't have to worry about the oven, you know, getting it cured and paying attention to that. But this part might be the part that I could do without. But if I'm going to be printing transfers, then I'm going to need this part. But, you know, if you're just doing one print, then just go ahead and print it from your machine. You will need another curing oven if you want to just print single sheets, single prints. Now it's time for us to install our ink, and the ink tanks are located in the back of your machine, right above where the film is. And there are several different tanks. You have your white tank, you have your black tank, your yellow tank, your magenta, cyan, and you have a tank for moisturizing liquid. Okay, so I'm just shaking up the ink prior to placing it inside of the tank. Make sure you pay attention to the tank that you're placing it in. The white tank has the circulation system connected to it, so it does automatic circulation. It also does print head cleanings every 8 hours. You can put the printer on standby mode, which I also like that as well. One thing that I like about this machine is that it will let you know when your ink is low. So it will tell you a specific ink color that is low. You will hear a loud alarm coming from your machine, and then you'll know that something is going on, something's wrong. So it does make that sound for if the moisturizing liquid is low, if any ink color is low, and it also lets you know if your waste tank is too full, which a lot of the machines don't let you know. Like, you just got to pay attention to it and make sure that it doesn't overflow and, you know, get all over the place. So I do like that about this machine. All right, so now we're ready to get started. Our machine is on. And the first thing we need to do is load that ink that we just installed. So you have clean, test, and control. We're going to select control, and then we're going to select load ink. Now we're going to do this process twice, all right? And that ink should start, we can't see the ink flowing through the tubes, but that ink is going to start flowing through the tubes. We have a little bit of action with our print head. All right, so now it's just moving, and I want to remind you guys that I had assistance even setting up the software. They wanted to make sure that I was able to get everything started correctly, and they helped me through WhatsApp, and I also did give them control of my PC to get everything installed on the computer. All right, guys, so this has to be set up using this Ethernet cable. I'm just going to bring that down, and I'm just going to hook this cord up. Our Ethernet out. It's right here. Looking all over the place, and it was right there. Walked right past it. All right, so I'm going to grab our laptop that we're going to be using, and we're going to connect it. Now, I do have the techs from OmTech helping me out right now. Virtual. I'm just going to sit this right here. The cord is long enough so I could put it on my other table, but no. Guess what? So this computer does not have an Ethernet outlet. So let me see where I can find an adapter. I think I have an adapter. Alright guys, so we need to connect our computer to the printer. I found an adapter, and the adapter did not come with the machine for an Ethernet outlet, and you need one. So going to connect it. I'm going to remove my other USB. And these are the two USBs that came with it. So we're going to install this here. And one of these is probably for the software, and the other is probably for the drivers. This is the one that's probably for the drivers. One thing that I kept forgetting to do when I was using the printer at first was to turn on the heating plate and the suction. You need to turn that on anytime you are printing with this machine. But the techs helped walk me through setting up the software onto my PC and getting started with those initial prints. And of course, I had to start out wanting to print transfers, of course. But here is the print head cleaning, the test that we used just to make sure that all of those ink tanks were printing and everything looked good. I am very happy with how this was at first. It was a very, very quick and easy setup. There's one button on the machine that you press on the screen to get that ink flowing through. You don't have to extract it out. And y'all, we're good to go right now. We're good to go. Alright guys, so we started this at 10:35. We're going to see how long this takes to print out 20 copies. Okay, so we're printing out 20. They're different images, but 20 images. How long is that going to take? Alright y'all, so we were up and running in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The part that gave me the longest or the most difficult time was getting that film through and connected to the roller. Outside of that, the printer itself, getting the printer started was very, very easy, especially with the help from the tech. So if you feel comfortable with getting help from them and letting them set your software up, I would totally go for it. Alright y'all, so it took about 7 minutes to print out the 4 images, and so I'm just assuming it's going to take about 7 to do for each set. But what I didn't like is that when it stopped, it didn't continue printing. It stops and then it restarts that batch. So I felt like I wasted a lot of paper in between, so I'm probably going to stop this and then just reprint it out again. To see how far it goes, I paused it, and then it just does more. Having the film threaded through correctly is important because there is a sensor that lets the roller know that the film needs to be wound up. So make sure that you have that connected correctly. And so now we're done printing that batch, and I hate to do this, but I need to cut it. So we're going to cut the film, and we're going to see how it's going to then proceed through. So there is a cutter attached right here, and then it's going to slice the film. So I'm going to hold it down. Right, so now we're just going to slice it. And it's going to keep going through. Uh-oh. I should have slowed it down. I don't think that's how that was supposed to go, but nonetheless, here we are. Alright, y'all, so clearly I didn't handle that right, and it's fine. So, I burnt the film, but next time I'm just going to manually feed it through instead of like just cutting it off like that. That would be a smart thing to do. But here are our prints, the roll, and they look really good. That color looks super vibrant. So overall, I'm happy. Yo, look at this color. This color looks amazing. That color looks so beautiful. Alright, y'all, so I couldn't stop printing because these prints were so beautiful. I printed out tons of these images because I was contemplating doing a DTF bundle and listing that on my website. So be on the lookout for that, because with this printer, I can do a lot. It's super fast, way faster than like your single head printers, and I'm absolutely loving the outcome with these prints. Alright, y'all, so we're all done with unboxing the OmTech Aurora DTF printer. And so far, I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and I'm absolutely loving the prints. I'm loving the outcome with this printer. You can print super wide with this printer, so it prints about 14 inches wide. So per OmTech, it can print onto 5XL shirts with no problem. So I'm loving the colors that we're getting with this. These colors are pretty much true to the actual image itself. Now, I did have assistance from the OmTech reps, from the technicians, with getting everything set up and working properly. That option is up to you if you feel comfortable giving somebody control of your computer. The only thing with this particular machine is that you do have to have a PC in order to be able to access the RIP software. And for those of you who are new to DTF, RIP software is required. That's one of the required softwares for being able to print to your DTF printers. And the RIP software does come with your printer, so you don't have to pay an additional fee for that, but you just need to make sure that you have a PC. In regards to the roll, I would probably, if I'm not printing transfers and just printing, then I will not use the shaker oven combo. And because of that, you may want to look into getting a smaller curing oven, because you won't be able to cure into that oven if you're printing single sheets. Now, if you're printing a lot, that's fine, but if you're printing single sheets, you will end up wasting a lot of the film. So I do have film that I have from me putting it through the roller that I'm saving so that I can go back and use it again. So let me just show you that. So when you put your film through the machine, this is about how much film you're actually wasting putting it through. Okay, and so I say wasting, but you don't really have to waste it. That's why I keep it, because I can still print on it. You can still print on this. And look, I still have more rolled up here. Okay, so this is the amount of film that gets rolled into your machine so that you can get it attached to the roller. So for me, that's a lot. And there is a process. It has to get heated, it has to get cured and all that. So, you know, that travel time is necessary. But these are some of the prints that I was able to print. And so that's where it stopped. So remember when I told you I printed out like 4 and then it stopped and then it started printing out the next batch. So, you know, I would just pay attention to that so that you don't waste any of your film. Outside of that, I'm absolutely loving the printer itself. It prints out beautifully, very easy to operate. The touchscreen on the printer makes it super easy. You don't have to be inside of the software in order to do print head cleanings or print tests or anything like that, so I do like that. So OmTech, this is a new printer for OmTech. It is on their Kickstarter. I will have a link listed below that will take you to their Kickstarter page. It will be off of Kickstarter very soon, so you may be able to purchase it onto their website very, very soon. But that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it down below in the chat. But that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.